My name is Tim Dahl, and welcome to Rainbow Forest Farm. We purchased this property in 1986. It's 14.87 acres just outside of Redland, Oregon. My wife and I looking for property, and we found this kind of hidden in the back of the multiple listings book as out of the area. We came out and looked at the place and knew it was going to be home. We were very interested in creating a sense of a home place and a place where our kids could grow up to enjoy the forest and the natural beauty much like I did. The history about this property is somewhat unknown too. I do know a few things. The large cedar old growth stumps indicate that it was logged at some point in the 1800s. And then by increment boring and looking at the trees, I have discovered that it was logged again in about 1946 or 1947. Then the property languished. I don't think there was any reforestation or any active management of it until we purchased the property in 1986. So our first objectives here were to beat back the woods. They were reaching right up to the door of the house, and so there was not just a little bit, but there was years of beating back old dead saplings and brush and everything else that had accumulated here for, well, goodness, I don't know, decades, and trying to convert it into something that could be recognized as a meaningful and managed forest. I wasn't here very long before I started seeing some trees dying in what we call over my shoulder here is Area B or Unit B. Everything in the tree farm was considered as the same until that happened. And then, you know, for my management planning, obviously I had to do something different there because it was riddled with root rot. Through the education that I had, I knew what I had to do to get rid of that was do some logging. So my first harvest was in 1994 because of the laminated root rot. The next time we cut was in 1996 when we did a partial cut, a thinning in Area 1, got between 25 and 30,000 board feet just by thinning, and the forest started to look a little better, started to actually look like what I wanted it to be. After those logging adventures, there was a lot of woody debris to be cleaned up, especially in Area B behind me, which was so steep. None of it could be done mechanically. It was all done by hand, and thus began years of gathering woody debris and burn piles. I've done a lot of work in the last couple of years trying to make the property and grounds and access more fire-wise, if you will. This community, Redland that is in the Clackamas County Community Wildfire Plan as one of the few high danger areas in the county. But being certified by ATFS is actually, it's a validation of my efforts. I've had various forms of a management plan since 1992 and 3, and most of it has existed right here and nowhere else. In fact, it's still clear as day up here. But being certified meant I had to put all of that on paper, and wasn't that easy, but it's nice to have it now all written down where other people can understand it, and I can actually look and see that it makes more sense than what's jumbled up in my head. The wood products coming from here will be certified, and more people are determining or looking at that as being a determinant factor in what they buy. I think the importance of small woodlands are becoming known even more, are being realized by a bigger population. And I think that those of us that have these smaller acreages in city areas or in suburban areas need to pay good attention to them and do as good as we can in making them the most productive and beautiful forest that we can.